Tonight's big story, a Fayetteville police officer is being accused of rape while on duty.
UATV has obtained a copy of the investigation report. Let's head straight over to Jacob Penner with an in-depth look at what's going on. Jacob, what can you tell us?
Well, guys, here's what we already knew. The Fayetteville Police Department put former officer Jamison Stiles on administrative leave December 4th. They fired him less than 2 weeks later after a woman reported that he sexually assaulted her. The report released today tells us that while he was on duty in October, Stiles picked up a woman who had passed out in a bar and he took her to her apartment. It states that while Stiles was at her apartment for the first time, he intentionally turned off the camera in his patrol car for 26 minutes and went radio silent. According to the report, Stiles made a total of 4 trips to the woman's apartment complex that night, and he didn't record any of them in his daily log. He then reportedly kissed the woman and touched her inappropriately. And after filing a complaint a couple of weeks later, the woman picked Stiles out of a lineup. A Fayetteville PD investigation determined that Stiles had violated several department policies and procedures regarding his conduct and integrity, and he also reportedly violated several laws. According to the report, he also admitted lying to investigators. Since Stiles was fired and arrested, another woman has come forward. She says Stiles sexually assaulted her last July, and on top of that, records show he had also been warned several times about turning off his recording device while interacting with women on the job. Now he faces several criminal charges, including rape and second-degree sexual assault. Reporting live, Jacob Penner, UATV News.
Stiles will be officially charged in February, and stay with UATV for the latest on this story.
January is National Stalking Awareness Month. This year marks the 10th anniversary of the cause. More than 6.6 million adults are stalked in the U.S. every year. The increase of laws, professionals, and services for stalking awareness have expanded over the years. To learn more about the power to avoid and stop stalking, visit stalkingawarenessmonth.org.
Just because cars are parked doesn't mean they're safe. Hit and runs can happen at any time. UATV's Leslie Benford has more.
I'm standing at the home of John Mosley right across the street from the Newston Apartments, the Cardinal, where he says he woke up Friday morning to find his car like this. He says that his and his two roommates' cars had been shifted about 30 degrees since the night before. They don't know whether or not it was a large construction truck or whether it was a drunk driver who hit their cars.
I asked for the general contractor. The foreman came out. He said he didn't hear anything that had happened. My next step, I called the police. A police officer was here within about 10 minutes. Took him about 30 minutes to write the claim because he had to write a claim for 3 different cars.
Now, the back end of his bumper has been completely ripped off. It's lying in the front of the lawn, and the damages are about $5,000. And the next step for him is to have his car towed from here to a lot in Springdale, where they will try to repair the damages to his car. Now, he's in a rental car right now, but he advises anyone that if this happens to them, to write down their contact information at the scene of the accident so that the process will be less stressful for the people involved. Reporting for UATV News, I'm Leslie Benford.
If you witness a hit and run, try to get a license plate number and report it to local police.
According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the enforcement of the open alcoholic container laws has greatly reduced the number of hit-and-run accidents. While temperatures have dropped to single digits this winter, keeping people at home rather than out and walking about. And the Dixon business streets have suffered because of it. Here's Brittany Craig live in studio with more.
Thanks, Tyler. Dixon Street is full of people drinking and eating when the weather is nice. But when the temperatures drop, so do the number of people on this famous Fayetteville strip. Dixon is a popular hangout spot for college students, especially on thirsty Thursday nights. But during this season of icy weather and chances of snow throughout the month, business at bars and restaurants has suffered.
When it's really cold outside, there's no one out. I mean, we get when the temperatures drop below like 10 degrees, we don't even mess with it. We just kind of lose.
Nomad's Natural Plate owner, Eric Gallimore, says that the weather directly affects the sales on his food truck.
Definitely need the day-to-day sales to keep going, but it's rough. Definitely warmer weather is welcome.
Aquafire's executive chef, Gerald McGuffin, says that sometimes weather predictions can harm the number of customers they see more so than the actual weather.
Because when he uses the word snow flurry, it's usually several $1,000s a piece for all of us on the strips.
Although some people would prefer to stay at home during the cooler temperatures, there are still those who seem to not mind it at all.
Definitely through the weekdays it's slower whenever it's cold. But the weekends, sometimes there's still a lot of people. I guess it also depends if there's anything going on other than any kind of function or anything.
Well, the weather earlier today was a lot warmer than it's been these past couple of days, but it was still so windy outside that there weren't very many people out on Dixon. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Brittany. Well, the temperatures are still changing, so I guess we won't be seeing many people on Dixon next week.
You know what, Tyler? Chicago may be known as the Windy City, but I think that Fayetteville gets that title today.
Yeah, that's right, Chelsea. Let's head over to UATV weatherman Tevin Wooten with a look at this windy weather. Tevin?
Hello, Tyler and Chelsea. I am outside right now, and guess what? It is not as cold as it's been the past few nights here in Fayetteville, but I can tell you that that's going to continue to go on for the next few days or so, or then actually the next day or so. But check this out. We haven't had any rainfall since January 14th, measurable amounts of rainfall. That is, we had a 1/100th of an inch January 14th, and just a few days before that, we had a 1/10 of an inch. And that's going to end tonight pretty much. We're going to have some freezing rain tonight, tomorrow morning, especially in the extreme northwest portions of the state. But other than that, it's going to be a great Friday. But let's take a look at the today, because today was fairly decent today. Mostly sunny conditions. The high was 47 degrees. The low was 27. The winds were kicking up from the south. I mean, kicking up. We had some gusts or not even gusts, but sustained wind amounts at 30 miles per hour, even 40 miles an hour. I think with the max in Fayetteville was about 41 from the south. Average temperatures today at 37 degrees. And then the state, how did they fare with these high temperatures? Well, this is how we all fared. Well above freezing, 49 in Russellville, 50 in Little Rock and Hot Springs and Texarkana and Mena, 53 for Camden, 48 for Pine Bluff, and 44, though, for West Memphis. Fayetteville, the high was 47, along with Harrison and Batesville at 45. Weather headlines, because this is going to be fairly active, and this is what you're going to want to pay attention to over the next 5 to 7 days. Tomorrow, again, 49 degrees is going to be the high. The low is about 46. A slight chance for precipitation on and off tomorrow, but that's not what we're paying attention to. We're paying attention to Saturday, Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week. We're going to see some sleet, some freezing rain, some snow even possible, and I'm going to talk about how much amounts we're going to see within the next few minutes on the show, guys, so stay tuned for that.
A warm-up is finally in the forecast for the southern parts of the country affected by Winter Storm Leon, but the finger-pointing has begun over who is responsible for the lack of preparation. And more than 2,000 cars still remain in Atlanta streets after being abandoned by their owners during the traffic nightmare. Governor Nathan Deal is receiving the backlash from citizens, saying that the problem was mainly his fault.
I think we did not respond fast enough. We did not respond in the magnitude at an earlier enough time to be able to avoid some of these consequences. We will be much more cautious and much more aggressive in terms of taking action in advance of future situations.
The state is helping people find their cars by giving them rides, gas, and jump-starting their batteries.
The U.S. House of Representatives has approved a new 5-year farm bill. The proposal would end direct payments to farmers in favor of crop insurance. It would also stop a possible spike in milk prices, but cut $8 billion from the food stamp program. Arkansas Representative Tom Cotton voted against the bill, saying it spends too much and leaves Arkansas farmers with too little. And after the break, we'll tell you about an award the city of Fayetteville snagged for the 5th year in a row.
And how the Fayetteville Animal Shelter is raising money in an adorable way. Keep it here. You're watching UATV News.
Welcome back to UATV. College students are helping the hungry while supporting the Razorbacks this week. These students are showing they are not the only competitive team on campus. UATV's Shelby Cox has more. Shelby?
Thanks, guys. A canned food drive was held at the basketball game this Tuesday against Missouri. The event also marked the start of a new university program. The U of A Alumni Association sponsored the canned food drive at the highly anticipated basketball game against Missouri. The drive signaled the start of Rivalry Week and a new program called Beat Week.
It's really a great way to just contribute to the community, our immediate community, and so we decided to work with the Alumni Association for this Rivalry Week, and so they chose to work with us, so we're really grateful for it.
Beat Week encourages friendly competition between rival schools. The food drive benefits the Arkansas Full Circle Campus Food Pantry. With the large number of fans attending the game, volunteers hope to gather a record number of cans.
This is one of our big collections, set up on every entrance. This is one of our largest volunteerings, I guess. But just collecting cans, they go back to the food pantry, help, people in need. It's cool.
The University of Missouri will respond with its own canned food drive at the February 13th game between the Hogs and the Tigers at Columbia.
Definitely next year, getting the Razorbacks family, getting the community, and getting the campus excited about the 2015 Beat Week.
The Alumni Association will be taking a group of students to the next game in 2 weeks in Columbia. Reporting for UATV, I'm Shelby Cox. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Shelby. If you're interested in joining the group, contact the Alumni Association.
Now, we're used to seeing murals painted on walls, but a unique project in Northwest Arkansas shows murals painted on curbs near storm drains. Now, local artists have the opportunity to express themselves while bringing about awareness to potential water pollution that flows through the drains. UATV's Deshaun Artis has the story.
I'm here at the county's Cooperative Extension Service Building, where applications are now being accepted for the 2014 Upstream Art Project. Now, this project aims to communicate and educate the community on the dangers of water waste through the use of murals painted on the storm drain.
When you walk down the street every day, how often do you pass a storm drain? And have you ever stopped to think about what happens to the water once it enters that storm drain?
What most people don't know is that these storm drains are directly linked to rivers, streams, and creeks in the area. Now, these murals can be found around town in places such as the intersection of Dixon and West. One requirement for artists who want to submit an application is that they must have the words "drains to creek" in their artwork. There's also a QR code displayed next to the artwork, which links directly to the Upstream Art Project's website. Reporting for UATV, I'm Deshaun Artis.
The application for these artists is due March 14th and can be found at nwaupstreamart.com.
For the 5th straight year, my hometown of Fayetteville has been honored as Arkansas's top volunteer community. The substantial growth of students at the University of Arkansas was a factor in creating more volunteers for the city's organizations. A tremendous achievement for the city was the 7,868 hours of volunteer work dedicated to the Fayetteville Animal Shelter.
Speaking of the Humane Society, the sheltered puppies are bringing joy to the city on Valentine's Day. Now, forget a heart-shaped box of chocolates and a teddy bear, because the Fayetteville Animal Shelter is offering puppygrams for Valentine's Day this year. Now, for a minimum of $30, a lucky someone will be greeted by a shelter dog who will, get this, present a long-stem rose and, of course, a special card. And the donations will be used throughout the year to take care of animals at the shelter.
To do something that we thought would set us apart a little bit from everybody else and get our name out there in any way we can, and this is just what we came up with.
To that special someone, stop by the shelter or call the number below.
Welcome back to UATV News. We're glad to have you with us, and we've got to look at this weather because tonight, it's a fairly good night tonight. 32 degrees and partly cloudy right now. It feels like 30. With winds from the south at 7 to 11 miles per hour. And if you were anywhere outside today, you notice those winds are really kicking. I'm talking 30 to 40 miles an hour from the south. Even gusts in some spots up to 50 miles an hour. If we would have got to 58, they would have issued a warning from the National Weather Service, but that did not happen. So we're A-OK on that aspect. And we've got to look at temperatures across the state right now, too. 32 degrees in Fayetteville, 37 in Harrison right now. Batesville's at 37, Jonesboro, they're at 32. When we take a look at Monticello and Texarkana's at 49, Monticello's at 40, Camden is at 46 degrees right now. Northwest Arkansas is shaping up fairly well tonight, as well as some areas are right above freezing point. Northwest Arkansas on our next map. Fayetteville is at 32 again. Fort Smith is at 42. Lincoln's at 36 right now. Silent Springs is just a few degrees below freezing at 30 degrees right now. Bella Vista is at 30. That is not 20 because we're not that cold right now. But we're going to see some 20s within the next few days or so, and I'll talk about that coming up. But we want to talk about this rain and how much snow, sleet, and ice we're going to see across Northwest Arkansas, and that, too, is in the next map. This is what we're looking for. Right around Northwest Arkansas, anywhere from a quarter to about 75 inches, or not 75, 3/4 inch of rain within the next day or two. But these rainfall amounts are definitely going to increase once we add in the snow that is coming on Sunday, and that's in the next map. We're going to see how concentrated this is going to be across Northwest Arkansas. This model is showing Fort Smith to the Mena area is going to see a heavier portion of this, but this could easily shift upward, or it could shift downward. I'm thinking it's actually going to shift upward because this cut across Fayetteville right now is too strict, and it's too restricted in the River Valley area. And we're going to see this develop again within the next few days or so, especially on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. You're going to want to stay inside for that unless you're traveling to the Super Bowl. It's going to be actually better there than it is right here because they're not going to have much precipitation with that game that's happening this weekend. And then we've got just one more quick picture for you. The daytime tracker, because we love to track the weather for you here at the U of A. Tomorrow morning, a sunrise at 7:18, and there's that 30% chance of showers tomorrow morning. Again, if you're in the extreme Bella Vista area in northwest Arkansas, you might see some freezing rain. But here in Fayetteville, we're just going to see some light showers tomorrow morning. 33 degrees, feeling like 26. At noon, we're at 47. It's feeling like 43. Much warmer is the headline, and you will definitely agree with me. It's going to be much warmer tomorrow than it's ever been this entire week. The sun sets at 5:43 tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be 49 degrees, and then you're going to see Saturday. We're going to go actually 49 on Friday night's low, about 49. But then on Saturday, the high is going to be less than the low that night. And I'll explain that coming up in the 5-day forecast, guys.
Thanks, Tevin. Good stuff. Now, it's not too cold for you this weekend. Coming up, the Phi Delta Theta fraternity will be hosting a fundraiser for ALS research. And the benefit banquet will be Saturday, February 1st at 7 p.m. in the Fayetteville Town Center.
Also this weekend is the Chinese New Year. This is the most important festival in Chinese culture, and it's very similar to Christmas. The Year of the Horse will kick off Sunday, February 2nd, with the banquet being hosted by the Chinese Student Scholarship Association in the Union Verizon Ballroom.
Coming up in sports, I'll have a preview of the Arkansas-LSU matchup and a preview of the Arkansas Track and Field Invitational. Don't change that channel. UATV Sports has everything you want to know. The Arkansas women's basketball team traveled to Tennessee to take on the Volunteers tonight. While the women put up a good fight, it wasn't enough. The Hogs were only down by 2 at half, but couldn't quite hang on. The Hogs lost 60-70. The Hogs were the leading scorer of the Hogs was Jessica Jackson. Jessica Jackson had 16 points tonight. The Hogs' next game is on Super Bowl Sunday at home against Auburn at 2 o'clock. The Razorbacks men's basketball team is coming off a tough loss against Missouri. Sadly, things didn't get easier as the Hogs try and cure their road woes when they travel to Baton Rouge to take on LSU. While it may not seem like right now, the Hogs could be getting closer to an important road win.
We just got to get to the point where we finish to win. That's the bottom line. So I think if we continue to build on that and just get a play here and a play there that goes in our favor, and then I think you'll see our guys' confidence even skyrocket even higher. We got to be able to finish. We got to make plays. The last game with Missouri, it came down to a stop, 64 off. We stopped it, didn't come up with the rebound, and so it's been that kind, during this stretch here.
Like I said before, the game is set for 4 p.m. on ESPNU. While the Hog basketball team will be away, the Razorback track team will stay at home and host the Arkansas Invitational. The Razorbacks men team will be one of 5 different teams in the top 10 competing at the meet. Coach Chris Bucknam says the Hogs may not be hosting an NCAA or SEC championship this year, but the Invitational will be just as fun as one.
We can get a good crowd out there and support the Razorbacks. We don't host the SEC or the national championship this year in Fayetteville, so this is an opportunity to see an SEC-style, NCAA-style track meet, and comes at the right time for us, and we're excited about having these teams in.
The men aren't the only ones having fun this week. The Razorbacks women's team also are hosting 5 teams inside the NCAA top 10 rankings. According to Coach Lance Harder, facing all of this talent will be a great prep for the SEC track championships.
After we get tested by this group, we're truly ready for the SEC meet because number 1 and number 2 preseason favorites is Florida and Texas A&M, and so we'll know how we stack up and kind of give us a little glimpse inside of what's going to happen for the SEC meet.
Arkansas wide receiver Melvison Hartfield is leaving the Razorback Arkansas football team. Hartfield is a 5'11" wide receiver with tremendous speed as described by the Arkansas staff. Hartfield was redshirted last year and never played it down as a Razorback. Hartfield joins Nate Holmes, A.J. Turner, and Mike Tavares as the players to transfer from Arkansas. You may have heard of a little thing going on this weekend called the Super Bowl. Eric Harris has our coverage on football's biggest stage.
That's right, Ty. I'm sure everyone has their plans for the Super Bowl this Sunday. Peyton Manning and the Broncos are taking on Richard Sherman and his Seattle Seahawks. It's going to be a battle of strengths. Denver has the best offense in the NFL, but the Seahawks feature the top defense in the league. Now, the pressure of this big of a game might get to some people, but not to Marshawn Lynch.
It's about that action, boss.
You ready to go get it. You just like to do it.
That's what it is. I ain't never seen no talking win me nothing.
Yeah.
Yep. Been like that since I was little. Was raised like that.
Well, that colorful interview came from a man they call Beast Mode, and fittingly enough, he has an endorsement now with Skittles. The Seahawks win the Super Bowl, you could say he's going to be tasting the rainbows. Back to you, Ty.
Check in this Saturday to see if a man known as Beast Mode will take home the Super Bowl or will Peyton get his second Lombardi trophy.
And coming up after the break, Kevin Wooten will have your 5-day weather forecast.
Keep it here. You're watching UATV News.
All right, welcome back, and here's the 5-day forecast that I've been calling active over the past few 30 minutes or so. Friday, we're going to see a slight chance for a precip. That is nothing compared to what we're going to see on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. 40% chance of snow, sleet, and rain on Saturday. Sunday, same thing, just a 60% chance, and it's almost going to be a snow event on Sunday. Monday, we're looking at more freezing rain. 42 degrees, though, is that high, so that's why we're going to see that freezing rain, and then Monday, we're back to 31 degrees.
And thanks for that, Kevin.
Well, that's going to do it here for us at UATV. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Chelsea Hawthorne.
And I'm Tyler Wessner. Have a wonderful night and a great Super Bowl weekend.